Hello, I'm Helen Bradley. Welcome to this video tutorial. Today we're looking at creating patterns in Illustrator when you want the pattern piece to include white. So I'm starting here in Illustrator and I'm going to draw out a rectangle because I want to draw a polka dot pattern. And if I start with a filled rectangle, my belief is that this should be a nice background for my pattern and it should make things really easy. It's not going to, but we're going to see why not. So with my rectangle selected, I'll choose Object and then Pattern and Make. I'll click OK. So now if I start drawing here to, for example, create a polka dot pattern, I'm going to select a circle here. I'm going to fill it with white. And it's a little bit difficult to see things because the rectangle itself is also being part of the pattern. And if I want it to be sort of outside the pattern area, if I start to decrease the width of my pattern, then everything becomes just a little bit more difficult to see. And worse than that, look what starts to happen. So this is not the best way to design something that has white in it. So let me go and get rid of the rectangle and let me go and create a circle, which is going to be the foundation of my pattern. And this time let's choose a light color, a color that we can see but which is not white. Now let's go ahead and make this into a polka dot pattern with Object, Pattern, and then Make. Now I can see the design pretty easily, even though it's not white, it's close enough too. So I can go ahead and create my design. So I'm going to just start making this much bigger. So I'm looking at my design and going, okay, so this is sort of what I want my polka dots to look like. So I'm happy with that. Let's just click Done. We come back to our circle. I can just delete that. So here's my polka dot pattern. Now I'm going to go ahead and make a rectangle. And I'm going to fill it with my pattern. I'm also going to make a duplicate of this with Edit Copy and then Edit Paste in place. And this I want to fill with the color that I want to use. So I'm going to do the sort of reddy color and I'm going to send this to back with Object, Arrange, Send to Back. So now we can see our pattern pretty clearly here. I'm just going to scale it down just a little bit so we can see it more clearly. So I'll go Object, Transform, Scale, and I want to scale it down to about, I'm thinking 75%. I'll turn Preview on, and I don't want to transform the object, I just want to transform the pattern. So that's looking pretty good. I'll click OK. But our pattern piece is not white. It's that sort of off grey color. So here's how we're going to turn this pattern into one where the spots are pure white. I've got this rectangle selected, the one that is filled with the pattern here. I'm going to the recolor dialog. And I'm going to make sure that there's a little arrow here because this is the sort of grey color. And what I want to do is to map it onto pure white. So I'm going to double click here and I'm going to set this color to pure white. And pure white is just 6Fs. And then I'll click OK. So now the pattern piece is pure white. You can see it on the screen here. I've got recolor out selected and now it's pure white. So I'll click OK. Our pattern piece in use is pure white, but over here in the swatches panel, we've got a second brand new pattern. And this is what Illustrator does. As soon as you recolor any pattern, it makes a new pattern swatch with that recolor in it. So here's the one we originally created with those sort of gray dots, something so we could see it at work. And here it now is in white. So anytime that you want to use white in a pattern, you want to be able to see it, don't use white, use something that's almost white but not quite so you can see it clearly on the screen. And when you've finished, come into your pattern. However complex your pattern is, you'll be able to pick up that color that you use, just turn it into white, and it's going to be saved automatically as a brand new pattern. And so if you didn't need it at this point, you could go ahead and just trash this gray version. And so the only version you're left with is the one that has a white object in it. So thank you very much to the person who asked the question, because it's a really good question. I've struggled with this myself. I've got all sorts of workarounds. I think this is probably the best and smartest of those workarounds. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. Click the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you'll be alerted when I release new videos. Until next time, my name's Helen Bradley. Thank you so much for joining me here on my YouTube channel.